My nerdy husband has become super obsessive over his looks, so my best friend told me he might have a crush on someone at his job. When I snooped through his computer, I found something much more disgusting than what I thought. Me, 31F, and my husband, 33M, have always gotten along during our marriage largely because he's a huge nerd. Outside of his job as a dentist, he obsesses over his nerdy hobbies. He has a dedicated Gundam building station in our basement, has a fascination with tearing apart and putting together vintage cameras, and loves painting actual pixel art. The point is, he's never had any weird hobbies like taxidermy where I had to be worried that he's a flat-out weirdo. He's been a standard nerd, until now, because he's been hiding something from me. Up until last month, I've always reminded my husband when to shave his neck beard, to iron his uniform, and ironically, brush his teeth a little extra because he drinks a lot of coffee. Now, I don't have to say a peep to him. He's completely a different person. He brushes his teeth like a madman, and he even gels his hair back like he's Patrick Bateman. I have a theory though. Around the same time he started acting differently, his dental practice hired a new and younger secretary, a college student. I believe either my husband was acting differently to impress the new girl or he's already giving her oral cleanings in his office. I asked my best friend about it because I had to know whether I was delusional or not before I came to the internet with my problems, and she ended up bringing up a good point. She pointed out that my sole focus should be on why he's suddenly grooming himself. I told her I'd report back to her and did a little spying on my husband. When I took a look at him, he had a little baggie full of trinkets to clean himself like razors and tweezers, the whole kit and caboodle. His beard was razor sharp, he no longer had a unibrow, and weirdest of all, his teeth were blinding white. He used to always have a yellow stain from his coffee, but his smile could quite literally light up a room with how clean they looked. I don't know why he suddenly had so much care for his mouth. Was he kissing his secretary? That's when it hit me. Not only was this mother flower cleaning himself up for his secretary, but he was going the extra mile to properly whiten and deep clean his teeth regularly because that's the only way he could have possibly gotten his teeth white so quickly. I was stunned because he had never done this in our 5 years together, and it had only been a month since they hired her, and he's been acting like this new man. My best friend said that he was nearing the danger zone. According to her, the danger zone is when a man will start presenting himself as available to the market with small changes like cleaning up his appearance. She said that she has seen many of her old boyfriends do this, and then cheat on her. Though she told me that I needed to be sure he was being unfaithful before I confronted him. So, I tried to think of ways I could find concrete evidence on him. The thing is, in the morning he hides whatever stuff he's using to clean himself up by taking it with him to work, so checking that was out of the question. However, he's also been using his computer a lot more. Recently, some days he'll come back from work and just sit at the computer for a couple hours before sleeping at midnight. So, I decided to go check what he was doing all this time. When I looked in his computer's search history, I almost threw up. I found searches on ChatGPT like, why makes oral taste so good? How do I convince someone to use oral? And why is oral so good? I thought I was gonna be sick. Never before did I think of my husband as the munch type, but why couldn't he have at least been that for me? Looking up how to give oral and asking what oral tastes like is crazy. We've been married for 6 years now. He should know my poop tastes like berries and cream. Jokes aside, that really ruined my night. I was certain I just lost my husband. I'd seen enough for me to confront him. The next morning, I went to the bathroom while he was getting ready and I just sat on the toilet while I looked at him. I just watched him practically polish his pearly white teeth and watched him smile over and over again. When I saw him put down his toothpaste, I read the container, and I could not believe that damn bottle said oral on it. Oral was the name of his toothpaste all this time. I felt like I was insane. I literally screamed at him asking why he was so damn obsessed with this toothpaste. Then he had the nerve to ask me what I meant. I told him about everything. His ChatGPT search history and the fact his teeth went from Frank Gallagher's to actual pearls. The fact he's changed his whole look all for his secretary. My husband turned to me, looked down, and laughed. He admitted one thing to me: his secretary did give him ORL. He said that when she started working there, she had recommended ORL toothpaste because she noticed how yellow his teeth were even though he was a dentist and that oral could whiten his teeth. She said it was a bit hypocritical for someone's dentist to have stained teeth. That's like having a fat personal trainer. He opened up his mouth for me and started licking and shoving his teeth in my face. He said he'd never seen a toothpaste with all natural ingredients because according to him most of them have added chemicals to give you that whitening look, which is really just dyeing your teeth. And that he trained ChatGPT on all the ingredients, so he could ask it questions. He kept throwing a bunch of jargon in my face like, oh, this toothpaste has xylitol so it cleans your teeth and strengthens your teeth from getting cavities or whatever. At this point I told him to cut the nerd talk because I spent a month convinced that he was screwing his secretary and I wasn't ready to believe that after all this time, he was just becoming obsessive over a damn toothpaste. He held my hand and told me to just believe him. He said he started trying the toothpaste on himself to see if it's something that he could recommend to his patients, and what he noticed over time was his teeth got significantly whiter. He claims that when his teeth got whiter he started paying attention more to his other facial features and wanted to start taking better care of them too. He even mentioned how he got new headshots with his new style, and that ever since he started doing that he noticed he was getting more clients, and since he was giving them the oral toothpaste and mouthwash they were much happier. I couldn't believe him. Not even. I couldn't believe myself. I wasn't even mad at him. I was mad at myself. Literally. How could I have forgotten my husband's a nerd through and through? I'm probably the only woman beside his mother he's not afraid of. I told him that I was still suspicious of him and his dehewn-looking teeth, but I had to admit that this ORL toothpaste poop was enticing. He gave me a tube to keep but told me to take progress photos after brushing every time so he can present it to his patients. Even though I no longer believed my hubby was cheating, I thought about going off on his secretary just for dookies and giggles. I was gonna ask her what else she's been giving him, an all-natural hemorrhoid cream called A&L?